Hi everybody, welcome and welcome back. It's me, Clean Girl Gina, and today I want to show you guys this delicious recipe that I have for any type of chicken is fine, but I'm going to do today leg quarters. So anyway, it's lemon pepper leg quarters with a twist. You guys know I have to be difficult and always do something different, okay? But it's going to be so good. And I hope that you guys will make it and enjoy it as much as my family and friends do when I make it. So first things first, let's talk about what we're going to need. You guys are going to need some butter. And in my case, I'm making quite a bit, so I'm probably going to use 3/4 of this stick of butter, okay? And then the next thing you will need is some olive oil. You can use vegetable oil. I prefer olive oil with this recipe. If you don't have butter and olive oil, then go ahead and learn to kind of improvise. So you can use some cooking oil or just butter or just olive, just what you have. Learn to improvise like our ancestors had to do. Okay, we're no better than them. So of course we're going to need some lemons. In this case I'm going to be using 2. Going to need some lemon pepper. Going to need some parsley flakes. Going to need some garlic salt. Going to need some white pepper, which has a little bit of a spice. It's a different type of pepper than black, so it really puts a spin on things. Going to need, of course, some black pepper. Going to need some paprika. Going to need some garlic powder. And yes, I said powder, not salt. We already got the garlic salt. We don't want to put, you know, a whole lot of garlic salt in there. So that's why we're going to get the garlic flavor from the salt, because it tastes different from garlic powder. But you're going to enhance it with just pure garlic powder, okay? That's why you need both. You need some onion powder. You need some type of a chicken flavoring. In this case, I'm using Chef Merito that you could find in Walmart. And this stuff is just yummy. That's all I can tell you. You're going to need some, I like this Morton's Nature Seasoning. And a little bit of adobo. Now this one has lemon pepper in it. That's why I'm using it. I'm not a big adobo fan, but it is pretty good at times. So let's go ahead and get started by mixing all of the seasonings together. At this point, you're going to be melting your butter. And you're going to add some olive oil. So you guys know I don't really measure. So we're going to go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of olive oil to a large pan. I know I prefer, and I tell you guys all the time how much I prefer cast iron skillet. But in this case, we do not want cast iron. We want a non-stick skillet. So we're going to go ahead and start heating that up kind of low and slow, because we're going to move over here and actually begin to combine our seasonings together. Now I'm going to do it a little bit different than I typically do, and the reason why is because I'm making such a large amount that I have to do it in one batch and then another batch. So I'm going to mix all of the flavor in here for both of those batches. So it depends on how much you guys are actually going to be cooking of this, because depending on how much you're cooking, you want to use less seasoning. So in this case, we're going to start with some, let's go ahead and start with some garlic powder. And we're just going to pour that in there. So that's going to be about a teaspoon or so, about 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, and then I'm going to be real generous with some lemon pepper. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there, a hearty amount, because that's our main flavor that we want. Now be careful with lemon pepper, because some lemon pepper It has salt in it, so you want to be careful. In this case, we're going to go ahead and move on to our white pepper. We're going to do at least a teaspoon of that. We're going to do a very small amount of black pepper, so 1/4 teaspoon. We're going to add in there a bunch of paprika, so probably a tablespoon and a half. So we want that color. We're going to add our Nature's Own, or you can even use Lowry's or just some type of a seasoning salt. And we're going to go ahead and get that in there. Then we're going to be generous once again with our chicken seasoning. You can even use bouillon if you'd like, or whatever your flavors that you're in love with. Use that. Just, you know, work your way up on your flavor. And an easy way to make sure you're not making your food too salty is to do it like this. Make a batch of the seasoning that's going over all of it so that you can add little by little instead of, oops, I spilled some salt. Especially if you're beginning to cook. Okay, so we're going to add some garlic salt in there. Then we're going to do some lemon pepper adobo. We're going to be generous with that, about 1.5 teaspoons. We're going to be generous with our onion powder. So we'll say we'll do a tablespoon of onion powder, okay? So as we got all of our seasonings in there, we'll go ahead and we'll give it a stir. And then what you want to do is go ahead and taste it. And you want to see, is that where you want to be as far as your seasonings are concerned. So like, for instance, you guys see how much I added? Okay, that means that I put it in here. That does not mean that I'm just going to dump this, you know, freelancing it all over my chicken, especially if it's nice and salty and stuff like that. Because you want it well seasoned, but you don't want no, you know, little heart attack problems because you ate so much salt, high blood pressure, right? Okay, so then we're going to go ahead, I'll just wet the spoon, and then we're going to go ahead and taste it and see if I like that flavor. And it is absolutely delish. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to move over here. Now at this time, guys, we'll go ahead and begin to season. Before I do, what I'm going to actually be doing is adding a little bit of olive oil to the meat itself so that the seasonings will adhere. Now, after your chicken has been washed and everything, you want to pat it dry. You want to pat it dry because you want all of the moisture to come out of there because it allows it to brown much, much better for you. So let's go ahead and get going on our seasoning. So you're just going to sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. Okay, so we only used about half of that amount. Let's get a little bit more over there. Hold on. We don't want to miss no spots, baby. Okay. So now all you're going to do is just take it and just, of course, rub it down like you normally would with all of your deliciousness. Okay. Okay, so now the only thing that we're going to do is begin to brown it in our oil. Okay guys, so now we'll go ahead and we'll start browning. Make sure your oven is turned on to 350 degrees while you're browning it, because this is an oven meal. We're just browning it because we want it to be beautiful and with the nice color and just kind of searing it, okay? So we'll go ahead and toss those in there and let them get to browning. Alrighty. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and flip them over now. You wanna do between 6 and 10 minutes on both sides because this meat it's a very large piece of meat. And it's gonna take a minute, you know, for it to get brown. But this is the color that you'll be looking for, golden, okay? Before, you know, because you could easily take it and put it right in your pan raw and all that, but when you brown your meat and you just take that time out to go that extra mile, what actually happens is that it locks the juices into your meat. Even if it's pot roast, chicken, pork, you know, it just really does. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and begin, oh, I got burnt, to remove your deliciousness, okay? Be gentle with it because you don't want to bust it and then the flavor runs out, okay? Be very as gentle, more gentle than I'm being because I'm rough when I'm cooking and I'm heavy-handed. So anyway, you're just going to go ahead and take those out. Now, if you're making a certain amount, you know, like a large amount, then at this time you want to add the rest of the stick of butter. And you'll know why in just a moment, guys. And then we're going to add a little more of that olive oil. Let that heat up and repeat the process until all your chicken is done. Okay guys, so now what I'm going to do is take some, like it's frozen, peppers, onions, and go ahead and put them in my skillet and just kind of sear them a little bit. Now typically what I would do is cut up my own vegetables, but I'm not in the mood to do that today because I am tired on this Sunday evening. Okay, so anyway, I just kind of like to let that go ahead and cook down a little bit, right? And let that take on those flavors and stuff like that. In the meantime, what I will do is I will add another approximately, we're going to say, let's be greedy, and add about a half a stick of butter. Yes. So if you're on a diet, this may not be your recipe. I mean, it can though, if you're doing low carbs though. Okay, so then anyway, you're going to take and let that butter melt down and let those vegetables just become kind of translucent. And I'm going to have to do something today. Okay guys, so I'm going to have to do something today that I really kind of don't want to do, which is use some yellow rice in the box. But if I had to use some yellow rice, this is the one that I'm going to use. Is that Zatarain's, guys. And so I usually would just take my yellow rice and, you know, like the uncooked yellow rice, not in the package where it's already kind of flavored, but not exactly where you want it to be. But anyway, I would take some yellow rice and I would pour it all into my pan, just like I'm doing here. Okay. And what you guys can do, you can certainly follow the directions that's on the back of the box if you do this type of yellow rice. If you're going to make, you know, regular yellow rice, then when you add your water, just add a little bit extra. So about a half cup extra water. Okay, because this is going in the oven and it, you know, just kind of takes a while to cook it. It's not something that cooks like you blink your eye. So I'm going to use a nice amount of water. And I want to cover all of my rice, making sure that it is like on the soupy side. Because I don't want no dry rice, but then again, I don't want mushy rice either. So then I just kind of place that in there. And although it has flavorings in there, what I will do is just add a little bit more flavor to it, to the meal. Okay. So that is why we use so much oil and butter, is because your rice is going to need that. So we'll just kind of give it a stir and such. Okay guys, so we're going to add a little bit of chicken bouillon at this time. We're not going to add a lot. We're going to add about, let's say a teaspoon or so, right? And you're going to make sure you give that just a little stir. And another thing that I wanted to point out is that I'm going to show you guys in a second. Another reason why I like to also cook my meat a little bit by browning it is because it keeps the blood inside of the meat. So as you guys can kind of look at that plate, you see that there's no blood coming off of there for the most part. It's just like the oils and the flavorings from that meat. Okay. So we'll just kind of make sure that we have given that a little stir, just kind of breaking everything down. And I can see right now that I'm going to need just a little bit more water. Let's just add the rest of that, which is approximately, we'll say, 8 quarts of water. That's probably how much we added. Now at this time, see all that vegetables and stuff? We're going to add that right in there. And that has all the oil that your rice will need to make sure that it does not turn dry on you. Okay. So we'll just kind of work that in. And those bell peppers and stuff, honey, let me tell you let me just tell you, it just do something. Okay, it does something very special and it makes my heart just beat. So at this time, we'll go ahead and we'll add back our, add on to there our chicken leg quarters. And I wanted to show you guys this plate one more time to just say, take the time out to brown your meats. Because if you will, you can do this with the chicken being raw. But if you do it and your chicken is raw, then all that blood is just in the rice. I don't know. I just wouldn't want to do it. I don't suggest it. So if that's what you want to do, you have to do it the way you want to do it. But don't be coming back talking about, lady, you told me to do it like this or that. No, 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 baby. I sure didn't. I said it, do it a certain way. I know how y'all like to do me. Y'all always try to be on my case and stuff. But that's alright, though. Because I still love you anyway. Now here's where you really start getting busy with that lemon. You're just going to take a little bit of lemon and just kind of squeeze it over. There you go. Because you want that real lemon flavor to now come out upon baking it. So you're going to take your lemon slices, and they're going to be about that thick, and you're going to place them beautifully on top of each piece of chicken. And honey, it's going to really give you a nice lemon flavor without being overboard where you're like, ooh, it's sour, you know, because I have had lemon pepper chicken that was sour and I didn't really like it. But if you like that, then you better go ahead with it and add extra lemons, okay? But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get this covered and pop it in the oven for 350 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes. Okay guys, so we are all the way done. This is how you will be looking. Total cook time, 350 degrees for 1 hour in the oven. And as far as the stovetop, you are looking at 20 minutes. So, you know, your meat is good and done, you know, because, oh my God, rare. Can you imagine that rare poultry, guys? You just don't ever want to do that. Outside the fact that it is a disgusting, that is one of the most sick that you can get, you know. Because I'm telling you, imagine, oh God, your stomach. But anyway, just talking about it, I'd be done got sick. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to dig in to our dish. And this, I like to let it rest, you know, a nice amount of time. It doesn't have to be like 20 minutes, an hour, or nothing like that, but just a nice amount of time. And it will continue to rest and absorb that water, that liquid that's in there. So you want to just plate it beautifully, you know what I mean? You don't want no goo up on the side of your dish or anything like that. So there's my plating. And so what I will do is I personally will actually wipe off the sides of the plate. Okay, so that's my son, and he gonna go ahead and taste it. Now, the first thing is, you can't be lying to these people just because you love me. Okay, so Bianca, go ahead and taste that and tell me what you think.
I'm gonna cut it in. Where do you want me to cut it? I'm gonna cut it in over here.
Let's pick it up and bite it like you do normally.
Yeah, I'm like, man,
you want to just pick it up and bite it for real?
Man.
It tastes okay now?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Yeah, it's real good. That rice is real good too.
Yummy. I can't wait to even eat. Usually I don't like to eat what I cook. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's all. And thanks for watching. If you like the video, like it. But if you love it, subscribe. God bless.